name is Ali. I'm 26 years old, I'm unemployed, and I haven't made a YouTube video since I was in my teens. I posted tons of videos on YouTube when I was a teenager, and I'd like to say I did it for the fun of it because I enjoyed it, which is also true, but some part of me was also like, I hope I get famous out of this. And if you made videos as a kid and you didn't think the same thing, I decided that you were lying because that makes me feel better. I've been in a weird position growing up, or like partially suffering from social anxiety and then partially being an attention seeker, which is purely factual right now, not even a derogatory term. You know when kids would start like singing out of nowhere, or I guess some adults too, just because they wanted people to be like hear and be like, she's really good. That was me, except like when I would get the attention, it would cause me, severe shyness and just lashing out because of it. I was selectively mute as a tween, so it was really a juxtaposition, like a weird one, where I desperately wanted to be heard and seen, but I was terrified of it. I was terrified of being observed. But I am a bisexual, gender fluid person, so the decisiveness is kind of normal for me. I've been unpacking the concept of cringe culture for a while now. And I'm not saying I condone the use of substances to like get your point across, but if I'm gonna talk about this, I need to get high right now. Okay, so here's what's up. It is extremely saddening to me that as a society, especially among youth, that irrational, needless judgment towards people who are not hurting anyone has become so fucking commonplace. Like it's just treated as if it's normal and usual. I came across something on Reddit the other day that this teenage girl and her boyfriend had gone to see the new Minecraft movie. It was just like a selfie of them. They were fat, not considered conventionally attractive children, shot on a low quality camera, and most importantly of all, they looked so happy. It was so innocent, so simple, just like an innocent expression of literal expression of, hey, this is me, this is someone I love, and this is us experiencing joy right now, and we wanted to share it. And the internet just tore into these two with insults and mocking and cruelty. This is so common, completely innocent people being punished for the crime of being cringe. And the average person may think, oh, I'm against that, but then they see someone who's like awkward or too loud or has unconventional interests, or in some way they just feel discomfort towards them and they wince, and they're subscribing to that notion of negative thoughts that strangers, who at the end of the day are doing nothing wrong. It's a societal thing for sure, and I know it affects some people more than others. I grew up in a very critical environment, always criticizing people, often for very poor reasoning. Bullying was commonplace, and protesting about it was considered dramatic. The times where conversation would happen the most, and sometimes the only times it would happen, were if we were horrifically trashing on somebody, to the point where when I felt lonely and I wanted to talk to someone and I didn't really have anyone else, I would go and find some catty gossip to share, because that was the only way I knew to get people talking. I participated in that, and it makes me so sick to think about. I grew up the youngest in my family in this culture of chief man, lack of empathy had been set, and I went along with it. And even when I didn't participate exactly, I still laughed. I laughed along where all these catty, horrible things were said, and I'm so ashamed of that. Obviously, I'm ashamed of when I did participate, when I did start those conversations. Miserable people criticizing and talking about how, oh, that person's so ugly, I don't like her hair, I don't like her makeup, she got Botox, this other person works out too much, I don't like their hobbies, this person broke up with this person, and here's whose fault I think it is, all this kind of shit. And if you dare to say anything to defend them, here's what I have in my back pocket to throw at you about your own flaws. And it wasn't until I reached my early 20s, more or less, that I started to unpack that thought process and unlearn it, and I'm still doing it now. It's awful how growing up like that has affected the way I view other people and how I treat other people. And equally damaging is how I view and treat myself, and that has been so much harder to get rid of. It took removing myself from that environment to really start on that healing process. To think the most clearly about it, really, because I've been mocked and bullied and insulted my whole life over anything, really anything and everything, especially even my own emotions, my anger and my sadness, and even my grief that was shared by others was also mocked and criticized. So it's no wonder that I apologize for having emotions now. I feel upset with myself for feeling the things I feel and liking the things I like and living the type of lifestyle that is considered unconventional and that others wouldn't approve of, and that make me so happy. And fuck that is what I'm trying to say. Like, fuck that. Maybe I have made enough progress that I can finally say, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if I'm cringe. I don't care if I'm cringe. Okay, so maybe I do care a little bit. It's not that easy. It's not. And I'm 26 years old, and one of the most embarrassing things about me is that I still care what people think about me. And isn't that sort of proving my point? Because that is such a human thing to do. Maybe when I'm 80, I'll be that elderly person who just doesn't give a fuck because they've seen enough to not give a fuck. And maybe I will, but I'm not that person right now. I'm in my prime. I care a lot. I have so much capacity for caring in me that of course some of it is going to be directed to caring what other people think about me, and some of it will be directed to caring about the world around me, about making it better, about improving myself as a person, to caring about the people around me, especially ones who would be sad to know that I'm tearing myself down so much for things that don't actually matter. There's no point to this, there's no lesson to be had. I'm just living in an apartment by myself, and my life is currently on pause right now, and I need a way to fill the time. I'm working on some projects that may or may not ever see the light of day, and I think I'm putting too much importance on that, on other people seeing the work I've made, and on it being successful by industry metrics and financially and societally, and that would mean that it has worth and that I have worth. And if and when that happens, I know I will keep moving the goalpost. I've been a lot kinder to myself in recent years, but I'm also still very hard on myself. I literally lay awake at night thinking about all the things I've ever done wrong, especially the mean things I've said, the mean things I've done, and just hating myself for it. Everything I've ever said, the poor choices I've made, the embarrassment and the shame. I am proud of who I am, and yet I am embarrassed to be seen and remembered, and yet I want nothing more. I was so embarrassed to be making these shitty little videos as a teen, as I was actively doing it, that eventually I archived them all, and yet I don't regret most of them. I don't regret making them. I continue to make them, and I'm uploading this one even though I know it won't get views. Just because that's what's currently entertaining me, and that's just choosing kindness over discomfort, which is sort of what fighting cringe culture is all about. One of my greatest prides in my recent development is that when I see someone experiencing harmless joy, I'm more often than not happy for them. I'm not that miserable person who makes a face or wants to tear them down even inside my head. More often than not, that's the truth. I strive to mind my own business. That's it. That's all I had to say. Bye.